Top to Bottom Male Romance podcast, where we celebrate all things male romance. I am Jessica.
And I'm Markie.
And this is our February bottom episode. We read Guns and Boys, He is Poison by K.A. American, who we had on for an interview at the beginning of the month. So if you haven't heard that, we recommend checking that out.
For sure, it was a lot of fun talking to those two. So if you hadn't had a chance to go listen to the interview, we talk about all kinds of fun things, Harry Potter fan fiction and writing techniques. It's a blast.
And all of the billions of projects that they have.
Oh my God.
I don't know how they sleep or eat or anything.
I don't think they do.
That'd be believable.
Yeah, I think they're just actually just amazing writer vampires or something.
I'd believe that.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah, that's good.
So, what did you think of Guns and Boys, Jess?
I loved it. So, I want to say that with all of the buildup about how dark it could be, I had all of these expectations of something much darker happening. So the things that were dark didn't bother me, and I was waiting for something big and scary to happen. And that was awesome because I tend to get a little squeamish when things get a little too dark. So it was actually a really good balance for me. I really liked that a lot. And Domenico is my favorite archetype of everything. He has long black hair and pretty light eyes. He's kind of an asshole, but when you see him be sweet, it's really nice. Like, I just, there's no way I could have not liked this book because of him.
Yeah, right?
I loved him.
I had read the first book a long time ago, so reading it again, I forgot how absolutely bratty Seth is.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, is that man extremely bratty for such a giant bull of a man. Also, there's a dog in here with us today. My doggie, Cassie Bear, is in here because she loves Jess and might bark. She's saying hello.
In general, though, I mean, I had a lot of fun with it. I really liked just, I don't know, I haven't read a lot of mafia kind of stuff, and I liked that. I was a little thrown off at the ending because I did not realize it was kind of like a part 1 and part 2 kind of situation.
Right.
And I texted you. I was so mad.
You're like, how dare you?
Yeah, so, and actually, I haven't finished part 2 yet, but I've started it, and I really like it a lot. But yeah, in general, thumbs up, 5 bananas. I would read again. I'm going to keep going with the series. You?
Yeah, same. I don't remember why I had put the series down to begin with, probably because I've got an attention span of a goldfish, but all of the books are like that. Like, they're just fun and gripping, and there's cool stuff happening. And of course, as the series progresses, I only got to book 3, but even in just those couple books, Seth and Dom's relationship, just, there's so much to it, and it changes, and happiness and sadness, and it's good stuff. I don't want to go into depth because you still need to read all of it, but it's such a good ride.
Yeah, I'm about halfway through the second book right now, and I joined on the Patreon, so I could see some of the flash fiction and stuff. I can't find, I think it was it Kat who said that the church scene was in Domenico's point of view on the Patreon, and I can't find that. I'll have to dig and see what I can find, but I did read, there's a flash fiction of when Domenico was watching Seth, when he was still with Peter. And that's golden. And everybody should join the Patreon just to read that because it's freaking great. It's hilarious and kind of gives you that unguarded side of Dom that he would want nobody to see.
Yeah.
It's great.
That's awesome. You told me about it and I need to go and devour that because it sounds so good.
I like the use of food in the books.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime that food is incorporated in books, I dig the hell out of it because that just kind of adds an extra layer to the characters and like how they view food and things like that.
Yeah.
Because again, it makes it more human. It makes it, so many stories don't include stuff like that, and that's fine. But like that extra bit, when I really love characters, like I could read something of them going to the grocery store. Like
right.
I don't care what they're doing. I just want to know what it is. So like that food really humanizes them, and also sounded delicious.
Yeah, I would love to have Seth cooking.
Yeah.
Just like every time I read those books, I'm like, I want real Italian food. Hard.
Also, without any spoilers to the second book, really, but serving cupcakes the way that Seth did was pretty hot.
Yes. I know exactly what you're talking about. So, absolutely.
So, anything else we want to bring up about? I super recommend the Patreon. If you've been reading the books, there's a lot of extra good content there.
Quotes. You wanted to talk about the quotes that you highlighted that you loved.
Yeah, so I always want to do this, and I always forget to, and I forgot. I ran through the first book so quickly that I didn't stop to highlight any quotes, but I did highlight a quote from the second book, which might be my favorite line in any book of all time. It's freaking great. And just off the top of my head, I can't remember exactly the context of the sentence, but it says, he'd be on a sea of fucked with only a pancake spatula for a paddle. And I just loved that because Because Seth, of course, he would make it a food-related item, and of course he'd be fucked because he's an idiot a lot of the times.
Yeah, he is an idiot, but he's Seth. So.
I will say, because now that we've been talking about it, and I'm wrapping my head around it, I frequently forget that they're brothers.
Yes.
Oh, I feel like you know something that I don't.
You're
a bitch. Okay, so, yeah. Anything else about the book that you want to talk about?
No, I mean, it's great, and I love it. I will say I forgot how fantastic the bathroom scene when he goes in, like, he's like, oh, I'm going to go to a gay club, and then he does the glory hole thing.
Oh my god!
Because, like, the first time I read that, I was like, oh,
I thought of so many different ways that could go wrong.
Yeah, I was like, Dom's gonna like kick in the door or something.
Yes. Or something.
Yeah, so yeah, when he got the note,
something.
I was just like, fucking, I love this book. Oh man, that was glorious.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how the path to the next dawn goes, and the ending chapter of the first book was really interesting because it kind of added, actually that's what pissed me off, because it like added this like, oh, it's what you think it is, but it isn't.
Yeah.
And then I got mad and immediately downloaded the book and didn't continue editing your story that I told you I was going to do that day, and I told you to blame Kat and Agnes because it's their fault. So
okay. You know what? If anyone's going to distract you and I'd be okay with it, it's Kat and Agnes.
Awesome. So, yeah. So I guess that's going to wrap up our conversation about the book, because we have a bit something different for the second half of the episode. Kind of, sort of, in honor of the Olympic Games. Markie is going to give me crack.
Yes. So I've been campaigning for Jess to watch Yuri on Ice since it came out 2016, I think.
Something like that. But just kind of as background, like, I like anime, but I have stopped watching anime because it usually is incredibly time-consuming. It can be expensive. I have a very addictive personality, so I don't know limits. And so I prefer to just, like, keep it at arm's length and, like, not let myself experience it, because I only have so many time for so many obsessions. I know how obsessed you are with Yuri on Ice.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, you keep that. But we were talking about wanting to do non-book related male romance stuff, and you were so nuts about this, and it's so perfect with the Olympics because it's figure skating. If you're not familiar with Yuri on Ice, could you explain it to him? Yeah,
it's the story of, the main character's name is Yuri, and he is a figure skater out of Japan, and it kind of spoils the first episode for you, but he doesn't do very well, and so he has to go back home. So it's his journey of basically pulling himself back up from, by his bootstraps and continuing on the path of being a figure skater, because that's what he always wants to be. And his idol that he's always looked up to, Victor, is another prominent character in the story who you'll see a lot. And he's like the reigning champ. Like, he always wins gold. He's the best. He's this Russian skater who's just like Yuri's idol. So, and their paths will cross, but I won't tell you anything more because I want it to all be new and shiny for you.
So, depending on how this goes, we might do this a couple of different ways, but I'm thinking, because we have the day to do this, we will do intermittent check-ins.
Yes.
As I watch it and become addicted to it. It's not incredibly long. There's only 12 episodes, is that right?
I think so.
And they're not long episodes. They're, 20, 30 minutes long. So, we have a marathon of ridiculous to watch.
Yes.
And...
Have you seen anything on it?
No, the only things I've seen is, like, your phone background and your computer background and, like, pictures and shit.
Okay.
So, various memes you've posted on Facebook. Like, everything I know about it I've seen through you, but I've seen zero about it. All I know it's about figure skating and that there's boy love in it, and that's all I know.
Okay. So, do you want to, because I have a trailer pulled up about it, so you can see it, kind of. So we can start with that, and then I guess the next check-in will be after you've watched a couple episodes, and then the last one will be, hopefully you finished it, and you can tell me what you think. So, yes. I'm excited. And I went out and bought the Blu-ray, because the Blu-ray apparently is different from how it was originally shown on, like, Crunchyroll and Funimation and stuff. The Blu-ray has cleaned up animation, and you get to see everyone's full skate routines. Because in the anime, like, the original way it was broadcasted, it shows people, like, a little bit of their routines, but there's a lot of filler of them cutting to the audience and stuff, because it's expensive to animate all of these really badass routines that the animation staff and the writers put together with a team of people who actually do figure skating. So this is going to be kind of new for me, because I haven't seen everybody's, like, uncut routines, and there's more characters you'll get introduced to and stuff. So it's kind of cool.
Okay. All right, you crack dealer. Let's pause this and watch the trailer, and then I'll give some preliminary ideas, and then we will go watch this and come back after I'm addicted.
Okay.
So what I've learned from the trailer is that I already knew what I was going to see in the trailer, which was figure skating via anime characters.
Okay, well, like I was telling Jess, I picked a really not informative one because like I was telling her, we're not watching in English, and the English trailers all kind of give a synopsis of what the storyline is, and I was like, well, that's just not going to do. So I just wanted you to just have a tease. So so the trailer was not much.
Yeah, I mean, it's, it's an anime about figure skating.
Yes.
Knew that, thanks.
You're welcome.
But, okay, I am excited to watch it, though. I you and I tend to have very similar tastes when it comes to fiction in general. I assume that's why I'm mad at you, because I really don't want to be addicted to crack, and I know it's about to happen, so... I guess we'll be back and you guys won't notice a lapse in time because we're going to just hit record again. And when we come back, my first reactions.
Indeed. Okay, so we're at the halfway mark at this point. We've watched 6 out of 12 episodes. So, how are you feeling, Jess?
I hate you. It's really cute.
Was it what you expected?
I had read something the other day about how it takes on male-male relationships a different way than what's expected out of anime.
Right.
So I should have expected the innocence of it.
Yeah.
It's a super sweet story. At the halfway mark, the romance has not fully developed or anything like that. I assume I know where it's going, but it's slow, but it's super sweet, and it's really funny, and it's cute. There's a lot of characters that are really growing on me, like anime does. Yeah, crack dealer. So now I'm at that happy high moment, right? Where everything's great and adorable, and so.
I think one of the reasons why I like Yuri On Ice so much is that typically, and I think Kat and Agnes had talked about with like yaoi and shonenai, a lot of the storylines can be really dark really fast.
Right.
Because a lot of people like dark and gritty stuff, which is totally fine. But this one is so upbeat and light and fluffy that you don't get that a lot in a lot of boy love anime and comics, especially. Like it usually has like damaged backgrounds and people struggling through things, and this one, they have their own personal journeys that they're going through, but it's not traumatic and awful.
There is that one character though.
Well, Georgie, yeah. Well, Georgie's got problems, so, and he's just, if you couldn't tell, is the running joke of just like, okay, so yeah.
Poor guy.
Poor Georgie.
I hope it doesn't go poorly for him, because he's seen enough. I can already tell his life is already too tragic.
Or every time you feel bad about Georgie, just remember Chris and everything's fine.
I'm sorry, I keep getting distracted by your cocky boys calendar.
Oh yeah, it
They're
happens.
staring at me.
They love you.
Being very distracting. But yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot so far. So there's just like little nuggets of just squee happening, and it's I knew this was gonna happen, you bitch. All right, so on to the second half.
Yep. So we'll finish up the last 6 episodes, and then we'll come back.
And are we gonna try to do this without spoilers so people who are interested can?
No, I guess we'll go ahead and warn you now, because at the end of it, we're probably going to spoil a lot of things. So I mean, the anime's been out for 2 years, so if you haven't had a chance to go see it, go do that before you listen to the rest of it.
Yes, hit pause, watch all 12 episodes, and then come back right after this.
Yes, exactly. So we just finished up the last episode of Yuri On Ice.
Spoiler time.
Yes.
Time is now for spoilers.
Yes.
Spoilers are going to happen.
Absolutely. So, what did you think?
I loved it, but,
yes.
And I was actually starting to say this when we just finished it, and you told me to shut up so we could save it for the podcast. So what I was gonna say was the ambiguity of are they or aren't they? I mean, there's so much of it there that yes, they are, but I wanted to see him kiss.
Yes. Okay, so what I was going to say when I was like, you know what, we have to wait because I have words. This is the first anime that has given you, well, okay, hold on. So there's shonenai, there's yaoi anime, right? So if you go specifically looking for like yaoi anime, that's straight up like absolutely guaranteed at least kissing, sometimes fucking. Maybe you get some peen depending on.
Well, and I don't even necessarily need that,
right?
Though it's nice, but like it was really sweet.
Right.
I just wanted to see him kiss.
Right, yeah, everybody does. And that's the intention of it. So there's a running joke with sports rival animes that are Shonen Ai-ish. There's a joke that, depending on how many exclamation points they have at the end of the title, depends on how gay they are, right?
Oh.
So, do you remember Free, the one about the swimmers?
I am aware of its existence,
okay.
yes.
So that one has one exclamation point, and that one is, it hints very heavily that they're like, kind of like you can ship them easily, but it's not to the point of Yuri on Ice. Like, it's the rivals that, and it's been a long time since I've watched it, so I don't remember the characters' names, but it's very, you can line up the ships really easy. And then there's Hayaku, which is a basketball one that's just gives you a little bit more, like they get really in their personal space with the rivals and da-da-da. And then Yuri on Ice has 3 exclamation points, so that one is like real gay, but it never crosses the border of like solidifying it 100%.
It really could have been not gay at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you really wanted to spin it that way, it didn't have to be.
Mm-hmm.
It could have just been a really sweet relationship. But oh my god, I wanted it to.
I know. And that's the whole thing, is like they set it up that way to kind of like keep you wanting more, and that's very much that trope in anime. Like, it's when I went out to, remember when I was like, oh, I found a cool anime club that was,
right,
yeah. I went out and talked to them, and they were like, when Yuri on Ice had first come out, and there was like 2 episodes in, and they were like, are they queer baiting us? I was like, I've never heard that. What is that? And apparently that is the thing, to where they play up that archetype and that trope to get more people who like BL stuff to keep watching the anime, because they're like, oh, are they gonna make it to where like they kiss or they get close or whatever, and so it keeps you watching it, and then it never actually gets to that point, because I think if it crosses that threshold in the series, then they have to technically classify it as something different, so it doesn't pull in as many like viewers. I don't know 100%, but it was the first time I'd watched something for that long that had that element to it, I guess. So, I don't know, like, when I finished Yuri on Ice, it was still, like you said, it's will they, won't they, are they a couple, but not really, but it's so sweet that I couldn't help it. Like, I was like, I love them so much, so.
Yes, and now they need to kiss.
Yes, well, like, you know, that's the whole debate when they did the kiss and cry thing, when he jumped into his arms.
Right, yes.
Like, it doesn't show it, but everyone's like, no, fucking kissed. It's just a thing that happened. Like,
yes, that's my version of it as well.
Yeah.
And will be, and I can imagine there's fan fiction to go with this.
Oh, dude. There are so many, like, doujinshi and fan art, it's overwhelming. So, yeah, I will be spamming the shit out of you with the art that I have saved on my phone.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
You should share some on the Facebooks.
Okay.
So our peoples can see it too.
Absolutely. So, yeah. Good stuff. I'm glad you finally got to watch it. Again, I know you've been wanting to, but not because you didn't need another obsession, but
yes, but now I understand your phone background, your computer background, the charm that's on your bag, and the various other bullshit of this that is all over your everything.
My wallet, yeah.
Your ringtone?
My ringtone. Yeah.
You're just mildly...
I mean, I guess it's alright.
But yes, I enjoyed it. I would very much like to see the second season. Was that last bit originally part of the thing?
No. That Welcome to the Madness was the full, what is it, the choreography for it. There's a teaser trailer out on YouTube that they released like back in July, like for the release of the Blu-ray, and it was just like you got bits and pieces of it that was like, ooh, it looks spicy, but that was the whole thing that you got to watch.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, it's good shit.
I love that. The very, very, very tip end of the Blu-ray edition, guys, is fantastic.
Yeah, I remember, and it's one of those things too, because Yurio's 15, so watching that I was like, oh no.
It's Japan.
Well, so. Yeah, it's a different culture, but it was just one of those, like, I was proud and a little disappointed in myself for the feelings I had.
Yeah, you do that though. That's not the first experience of that you've had.
I'm always sad when, like, what was it when we were watching Spider-Man and I was like crushing on the main character like super hard, and he was like, I'm 15. I'm like, well, that's cool.
Oh, you and Jon Snow, 14 my ass.
Yeah, right. I was like, please God, no, I don't need this to be true. Anywho.
So, the most derailed podcast we've had.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, so, wow, and it's still pretty short. This is like the entire thing?
Yep. This is the whole thing.
I was afraid it'd be too long.
Mm-mm.
Giggity. Oh, we had a contest winner?
We did. So, back on where we're supposed to be. So our contest winner for the e-copy of Guns and Boys was Katie, and I sent you an email, so definitely be keeping an eye out for that for the whatever edition, Kindle or Nook or whatever you desire. Just let us know and we'll shoot it your way.
So we actually have an interview lined up for next week as well. We've got Joe Cosentino joining us to talk about his Cozy Cove series and many, many other things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got to talk to him for a long time. It was a lot of fun.
So I guess until then.
Yeah, until then, happy reading.